Hey there, Commercial Construction Coffee Talk fans. Thanks for chiming in. My name's David Corson. I'm your host. I'm also the publisher and editor of Commercial Construction Renovation Magazine. This is what it used to look like. I don't know. I'm grabbing some archives here. March, April 2020. Well, we're getting down when I didn't have any magazines, printing. But anyway, I had Midas Hospitality, JT Norvell, co-founder and team member. Let's see. This was what was this thing? 148 pages. What was I doing? Oh, I was playing contractor. Well, this issue came out March, April of 2020. I think something happened during that time period where like everything went, kaput. So when that happened, I told my son, I said, hey, we're going to redo the deck and you're helping me. So that's me. I'm playing it, but decent sized deck. I did the stairs and got one of my buds to give me a dumpster, dropped it off for me right there. It was awesome. And had, he's like, Dad, why aren't you a contractor? You know how to do all this stuff. I'm like, Brody, I come from a construction family. Did you forget that? Okay. I've done everything. And but that was what I was doing. But I'm looking buff there and I had a little more hair, but nice looking issue. We went digital in August of 2021. That was the last issue I published. I had White Castle, the VP of development construction, Guinan, I think his name was. Anyway, we thanked them for being on the cover, but it was the biggest facility they ever had. Anyway, that was the last issue I did, but I just grabbed this one. I hadn't seen this. I didn't even know what year it was, but it's always nice to, like I said, hold it and see what was going on. But you know what? I don't miss the printer. Don't miss the post office. And it's been an amazing transformation from print face-to-face to digital. And for all you out there that find us on the web or come back more than once a month, you're one of my unique users. I am grateful for your, heightened awareness to come by and want to surf our content. Nowhere in my wildest dreams would I ever have thought that I'd have, all these people looking at stuff. So, thank you again for finding us. For those of you who don't know, I've been building my house. I've been living here. It took me 14 months. Been here for about 2 months. So I'm still sitting out here on the deck. My studio's done. I'm ready to get to the neon signs, but it's so nice. I'm sitting up here. And hope everybody had a great Labor Day weekend. That's the weekend where you don't want to do any work. You just want to relax, recharge for the last charge, the last basically quarter of the year. We only have one more month left in Q3, and then it's the Q4 and pedal to the metal till the end of the year, and hello 2026. And it's an amazing time to be alive. Construction, just what's going on in the world. I can't even keep up. I just get in my bed at night and go, oh my God, I didn't even know any of this was going on. So anyway, today I've got a nice gentleman up in my original roots up in the great state of New Jersey. His name is Ryan Teicher, and he's the CEO of REDCOM Design Construction. Ryan, say hello from to our listeners out there at Commercial Construction Coffee Talk from New Jersey.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, man, that was awesome. Yeah, do it again. How you doing?
Jersey guy through and through. It's great to be here.
Yeah, I've lost my twang. I've been here since '92 in Atlanta, and people, I still have it, but there's nothing like that. New Jersey, Philadelphia, New York. Everybody's got their kind of thing there. Even Baltimore, Boston for sure.
Yep.
Rhode Island's different.
We got a little edge. We got a little edge in Jersey.
But I'm a damn Yankee. I came down here and I stayed. And half the city, I only know so many locals. So I'm up here in like the woods. The lake's right behind me, and everybody's a good old boy. I'm a damn Yankee. I'm down here. But anyway, I built my house. I'm here. I'm unpacked. I'm gonna make it back to the studio, but we'll enjoy the nice weather. The humidity's down. So, but
you got a great setting back there. That's nice.
Yeah, we were talking before, but my wife bought the land. She designed the house. She had everything. We just never did a ground up. She never did a ground up. So when she bought it, I said, look, if we build it, we should. You bought the land. We should build the house, not someone else. Just for yourself, just to have it on your. She's got a website, but most of her stuff's all referral. And I told her, I said, hey, if we could do 2 spec homes a year, and then all your other little, I call them foo-foo projects. Nothing against the
Hmm.
ladies out there, but you know what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
Listen, basements are not foo-foo, all right? At least down here in the South. Maybe not in Florida because there are none, but up north there's plenty of basements. There's plenty of man
Yeah.
caves, girl caves, but that's what her specialty was: basements, bathrooms, kitchens, add-ons, and but never ground up. So we were really lucky. We had all the back end subs in place. We didn't have to babysit them. They knew what, hey, man, we got to get this stuff done. But I still had to go get a bunch of people to do that to get the beginning of the project. Plus surveying, dealing with the municipality, permitting. I mean, everybody's got their hand out.
Oh yeah.
And but it was an amazing experience. I loved it. I took video of everything because I'm doing a wrap up in this issue. I'm gonna put the house in there and just kind of my timeline. Hey, here's where I started. We bought the land here, and it's a nice little cool. We got photos. We got some video. It'll be nice. So anyway, Ryan. The reason I had Ryan on because he's been around for a while, and he was also up there basically at ground zero in March of 2020, and he's still standing today, and he's got some cool stuff. So Ryan, the way we're going to do this is in 3 parts. You're going to tell your story, where you grew up,
Mhm.
what school, sports, kids, whatever, and how you ended up where you are today. Then we'll merge into lessons learned from the last 5 years of the roller coaster that we've all been on. Hey, we're out of the tunnel, speed bumps, potholes, all that kind of stuff, which you got to blow right through them. And then you'll leave your contact info and one positive thought or phrase for our listeners, and then we'll close it out. So with that, the floor is yours. Tell us your story.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks for having me on.
Sure.
I love. I started out really hating podcasts. I didn't know how to do it, but I kind of warmed up to them. So it's it's fun doing them now. A little bit about me. As I said, I'm a Jersey guy through and through, and like you, I grew up in a construction family. My father was a home builder when I was growing up, and every break that I had from high school and college, I was working in the family business. I always say my first job was I was the assistant to the laborer.
You're
So
the grunt, man.
I was
Go
the grunt.
go get
My
us some
tool was a
donuts.
broom.
Don't be late, right?
Yeah. I got to carry a broom as my tool, sweeping up houses, making sure they were clean in between trades. Yeah, I came up.
That's the best experience that you could ever get. It
It
just
is.
told you who you are.
Yep, I got exposure to every trade. I was the grunt. I wasn't old enough to drive yet, so I couldn't go get coffee. But when the coffee truck came, they sent me and run over there and get the coffee. And then I grew from sweeping to stacking up 2x4s, making sure they're ready for the next house when they were torn down from being bracing. Then I got to hold a hammer. Then kind of went up through the trades. I worked with all the trades through the years, and then ended up working in the family business at a later date. But after high school, I grew up in Central Jersey. I went to University of Maryland. Wanted to get out of the state, get a little bit of experience outside of Jersey. But then I was brought back to the Northeast when I graduated. I got a business degree in marketing, and I felt that I wanted to go into marketing and advertising. I didn't want to be in construction. Started looking for jobs in New York City, and as I was interviewing in these advertising firms, I just realized this is not for me. I got construction in my blood. So I got a job working for an architect in Manhattan. Lived in Manhattan, worked for an architect. Then got an opportunity to work for a general contractor in downtown Manhattan, and had the honor of working in some legendary landmark buildings. I worked in the World Trade Center, in a lot of those towers there. I worked in the Empire State Building, the Chrysler Building, up and down Park Avenue, doing a lot of corporate interior work for some Fortune 500 companies and some smaller companies. Really fun, really interesting work, really challenging. And I was in project management. Then I got a call from my father that said, "Hey, business is growing. Your brothers are in the business. do you want to come? And kicking and screaming, I left the city, went back to Jersey to work in my family business, and I did that for about 10 years with my brothers and my father and my mother.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was a great experience. If anybody that has worked with family knows how challenging it is, and how emotional it gets. But I really learned a lot working in a small business. We were generally home builders, single families, condos, townhouses, track type communities, anywhere from 30 units to 550 units, all over New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. So, and in that role, or at that company, I played a lot of different roles. I was out in the field as a super. I was a project manager. I ended up getting into marketing, which I had my, academic training in for a bit. Did sales and marketing, and then I got to the executive level when I was where my brother and I were kind of running different regions of the business on our own. I then had an opportunity to get back into the city, which was something that I've always loved. And I went to go work for CBRE. And if you know them, they're a global real estate firm. Had an opportunity that I just couldn't pass up to learn what it was like to work in corporate, work all over the country, worked in Canada also. I was on the project management side on the global client cases. So I was dedicated to a certain client at a certain time, and I bounced around to a few different clients. In my tenure there, I was there for about 8-9 years as well.
Lots of square footage, I'm sure.
Lots of square footage, and lots of different states in the country. I never thought that I'd be traveling all over the country building things. Worked for companies like banks like Santander Bank and Citibank. Worked for Siemens engineering firm. We did an expansion of a train factory where they built trains out in Sacramento, California. Some really wild stuff. Got some life science experience there as well with Siemens on their healthcare side. Then I went over to Quest Diagnostics and I did some work there, building out some laboratories all over the country, which is really interesting. Some great work that they do. Then I had an opportunity to come to REDCOM. I was introduced to the owner, Greg Redington. He was looking for a CEO. I wasn't quite looking for anything, but I'm the kind of guy that's always open to conversations and to see what's happening out there, what the opportunities are. And this opportunity really felt like the right fit for me. It gave me the ability to take what I learned from my family business for all those years in the small family kind of style business, and what I learned in the corporate world at CBRE, and just kind of take the best of both worlds and merge them together here at REDCOM. We're 55 people. We do about $50 to $60 million in revenue per year, and we're considered like right on the cusp of being a small business versus a medium-sized business. And there was a tremendous opportunity to bring some structure and some of that corporate energy into the company. And that's what I've been trying to do for the past here for about 2.5 years. So it's been nice. It's been a wild ride.
Yeah. Well, first of all, go Terps.
Yes.
Cross haven of the, hey,
That's right. That's right.
I'm a lacrosse guy. Listen, it's one. I went to DU Terps. We lost them a couple of summers ago. Hey, it is.
Probably always.
Lacrosse capital of the country, ball. Down there in, anyway, Terps.
Yeah, College Park.
But talking about working with the family and stuff. There's nothing like working in New York City. We had a showroom on 32nd and Lex. I went to public school, PS 158 on York in, First Avenue, for years. But I get it. But working for family and then corporate, because I did it the opposite way. I worked for my family in the summers, and then I went to school. Then I worked at Levitt's Furniture. My dad was, my mother was in construction, her family. and my dad was in upholstery furniture. And the idea was, my cousin and I, we were going to go into business just like your brothers and with your dad.
Yeah.
And so I did my year of retail in Denver after I was done, and I put together more of those little brass tables, lost leaders, in the back of the store. I Scotch guarded the unloaded trucks. I was a picker. I worked in customer. I did everything. I learned.
Yeah.
So, but I did it opposite. And then, when it came down to it, when I went out on my own in 2001, after Nielsen had bought our company, and we were like just like your company was, small business almost, whatever. And then they had the big corporation. And I just, when I went out on my own, I was like, I know how I want to do it. I want to do this, this, and this. I want to pick from all the things that I knew how to run things, and then, kind of tweak them along the way. But it's like I'm listening to myself, listening to that story,
Yeah. It's really cool because when you work in that family business, I always found myself like, oh man, all these big companies, how do they do it? They're so structured. They're structured so well. They have all these policies and procedures in place. Then you get there and you're like, oh my God, why do you have so many brick walls that you can't get through to get something done? You got so many policies in place. And then now here I am like, all right, I can take this policy, but we don't want it to be restrictive. We want to be able to be able to maneuver. So it's really cool. It's been a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. It's being an entrepreneur, and then, like I said, everything that you did, just even going down to, to College Park, Coach Tolman down there, so everything that when I look back of all the things that I did, all the different jobs and stuff, I told my son the other day, we were out in the boat, and I said, what I had to do when I was I think I was 7 years old. We had like a cabin cruiser. We were a construction company. Of course they had trucks. We had a boat down there. You used to take clients out on the boat fishing. They needed a first mate. So I had my dad, he made me write a letter. I'm like 7 years old. I had to write a letter to my grandfather. Dear Grandpa, hey, I can do this. I can, I love fishing, So all that stuff, I kind of look back. I'm like, that was pretty ballsy, to go out there. But I had to get up at, I'd be there, 6 o'clock in the morning. You had to get up early, and So when you work for your family, when we built this house, everybody told me, don't build it with your wife. Don't build it with your wife. You're just gonna, it'll just cause problems. I'm like, no. We've been together over 33 years, come on, 34, married 30. I'm like, nah, I don't think so. And listen, she was the designer and everything. I was kind of just, I do the books. I was in construction. I would look at stuff. And then there was something like, when I looked at the budget, just like the fence, he quoted me outrageous price or whatever. I was like, I'll have the lumber delivered and I'll put it in, I went and we rented a 2-man auger. I got a little 16-year-old kid in the neighborhood. I paid him, I gave him a couple $100 a day to help me. And I did 39 posts.
Wow.
In like, I don't know, an hour, maybe an hour. I pounded them out quick, and it was hot.
That's fast.
Then you got to put the posts in. Then you got to pour the concrete, and then you got
to make sure they're level.
Well, no, level and straight. You better have some strength. I had repaired a bunch of fence. I had done posts, but I had never built the whole thing. So, I kind of, everything was done. I was like, okay, I think I'm just going to put the fence here, and I'm going to run it over there. Asked my neighbor, hey, can I tie into your fence, your little privacy fence? And I went along, and I was just kind of like, yeah, I can do this, man, no problem. And if you have the right tools, you can do anything.
That's right.
My wife goes to me. We had 27 interior doors, big ones. They're like 8 feet. They were heavy. She's like, aren't you going to hang those doors? I'm like, babe, we're hiring someone to do that. Okay. Someone that does it every day, has a little help that he can crank probably all 27 out. It's an art. You want your doors to flow like air. I'll put the hardware in. Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm going to let someone, I have a sincere, I come from a construction family, so I have a sincere appreciation for skilled labor, millwork, metal, whatever, electrician, plumbing. The bottom line is it's worth paying to get it done. And, by someone who's qualified, then, and certain things you listen, YouTube is an amazing thing. You
Oh
can go
yeah.
in there and you can find whatever you could become a surgeon. I just don't want
Uh-huh.
you operating on me. Okay. You're probably better than some of the doctors because they don't even teach medicine anymore. It's prescribing stuff. But you can learn a lot on YouTube. Shoot,
Yeah.
go on AI right now. It's pretty darn
Mm-hmm.
smart.
Yeah.
Okay.
Answers any question you got. Any question you
Any
got.
question you got. And so uh, here, and just like yourself, when you came, hey, I wasn't thinking about that, and no, it's a great story, man. It's like welcome. It's like welcome to America. Listening to that thing, man.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I've had a bunch of amazing opportunities to be able to get here. Yeah.
talk about how you weathered March 2020 till today. Just because certain states had more regulations than others, and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I talked to all sorts of contractors. A lot of the biggest thing that like a contractor, engineering firms are those types of firms, services. They all said if I could have found more project managers or superintendents, I could have done more business. And
Yeah.
I had the best years because I learned about my company, I learned about my people, what they could
Mm-hmm.
do, and then so what do you think?
Yeah.
What are two things that come to mind?
Well, so I got to say, one is luck for me. For me, one is luck, just having to being at the right place at the right time. In 2020, I was working for Merck Pharmaceutical Company, and they didn't shut down.
No,
They didn't shut down. They had to keep going. They had some provisions in place where some people were on site, some people weren't on site, but the facilities team and the construction team, they have a 200-acre facility in Rahway, New Jersey, and they just couldn't go down. So they had to be up. So we got lucky in that sense, but social distancing made it very difficult for the construction industry. I'll tell you that much. Wearing masks, a lot of the guys, especially in pharmaceuticals, are used to wearing PPE, so it wasn't that terrible, but it was challenging. It was challenging to get through it and figuring out how to, you had your cohorts and your teams that would work together on a regular basis. But I got lucky. We kept working through it, so that was nice.
what about technology? I mean, meetings, did you do the Zoom gig or
Yes.
with those guys, how did that work?
Yeah. Yeah. Everything was Zoom. And again, it was nice that that I was at a company like CBRE because they were using Zoom and GoToMeetings and a couple other of those different platforms already. Because we were working all over the country, working nationally. I'm sitting in New Jersey managing projects in California, Kentucky, Wisconsin, Texas. So we already had that technology in place. So it was relatively seamless making that transition. I was already used to working remote. I worked from home a couple of days of the week. I went into the office a couple of days of the week before 2020. So having those tools in place really helped us just kind of stay current and stay operating.
It all depended what state you were in.
Mm-hmm.
Like here in Georgia, we never even shut down. We were
Mm-hmm.
kind of we were. I think we were they say we were the first to open. I don't remember, but there were three projects that were going on. There was a fire station that was getting built. There was an old
Mm-hmm.
folks home, and then they were doing something in the park. They were putting some tram in or whatever, and they were all deemed essential. So,
Mm-hmm.
they all went on. I watched them all get built, and I was, I would go by there all the time, so I would always look, and I saw some like the at the fire station they had their little PPE set up, and
Mm-hmm.
but everybody would figure out with scheduling. Hey, we don't want if you were doing a highway project, you were probably okay in New Jersey, but if you were doing a
Mm-hmm.
bathroom in a mall, that wasn't
In
probably
a home.
happening up in New
Yeah.
Jersey. But it
Right.
wasn't. It
Yeah.
was here, but not up
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, but a lot of the residential work here stopped. You couldn't go into somebody's home. But for us, it actually really worked out well because a lot of the non-essential employees were working remote, and that opened up, R&D laboratories that needed to be renovated. They couldn't ever get in there because people were working around the clock. Well, those folks went home and were working remote, so it opened it up for us to be able to get in there. There was some critical infrastructure that we were able to upgrade and update that we probably wouldn't have been able to do had everybody been on site. 3,000 people running around. It's much harder to get shutdowns and upgrade critical infrastructure.
Listen, I'm 62, so when I was my athletic career was over in the mid 80s, interest rates were 18%. Paper clips, I can't tell you how much they were, but they were expensive. I thought 92, I came to Atlanta. Gas was 88 cents a gallon. Went through the dot-com burst. I was in New York on 9/11. Flew in the night before into Newark, and I was doing a trade show with Javits the following day. And we got up. We're having breakfast, and small plane hit the building down there, and Nielsen's building is down.
World change.
Yeah, well, Nielsen's they bought an old Montgomery Ward. I don't know, it was probably like 8-10 story brick, way down there. It was only a couple blocks away. Anyway, I ended up driving home. This is great. So you'll like this from New Jersey. So that day, it took me about 4 hours to call my office here in Atlanta. And I just said, get me a rental car. Okay. And then went through that night. Next day, got up early. I stood in this freaking line. I think I was in Connecticut. That's how far.
Oh man, yeah.
I'm like, I'm not going to get a car, man. I'm standing here all day. I'm not going to get a car. My other rep from LA, he hitchhiked to Columbus, and then a couple days later, when they opened the airports, he got on a flight.
Wow.
He had a bud there. Anyway, so I think I got the last car on Manhattan. Literally, I mean, it was so me and my rep, we drove. Left New York, and we went from New York to Raleigh. And right before we pulled off to get a hotel for the night, there were two guys in a taxi with a New York cab going south on I-95.
Wow.
In North Carolina and Raleigh, and these guys like, yeah, we're going home. I will remember that the rest of my life.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. But I flew up a month later, and no problem getting on the plane, and flew up, and I took the train down to Ground Zero, because it didn't go down to State Street. It went one before, and you had to walk down. But it is such a large area. People don't realize how big it is. It's not just where the new tower is, and the dust cloud went so far. I grew up in Manhattan. I went to public school there. We had a showroom there. I grew up there. I know, and I try to put in perspective to people when I talked about it. I'm like, oh, you're down in Atlanta. Well, yeah, take the Congress Center, the Mercedes-Benz, and the Centennial Park that they built, and then add about another mile or two.
Right.
How far the dust cloud went. And everything smelled like, anyway.
It smelled like soot for months.
Our building got hit by the debris and knocked some holes in the brick. And it was in one of the computer rooms. They had a picture. They had sent out and say, hey, this is what the building we get fixed. Anyway, but yeah, that's my 9/11 story. Two guys in a New York cab. I would have loved to see that fair, and then he had to drive back.
Oh yeah, right? yeah. I can't imagine what that cost.
But I went through 9/11, and then started my company. And once again, I started my company December 17th, 2001. And everybody told me not to go and to go out on my own. And I really didn't have a choice. I think it was Thanksgiving. They had about 150 magazines, and they shut down the one. They bought our company. We had 10 and 8. And then they sold some things off. And then after 9/11, they whacked about 60 magazines out of the portfolio. And my little construction magazine I had started got the axe. And that year that I had started the magazine in 99, my son was born. So I looked at that.
Oh, man.
It was like my kid.
Yeah.
So I met with the president. I said, sell me the magazine. I'm going on the road this week. When I come back, you got to make a decision. I came back. You know, sell me the magazine? He said, no. I said, here's my resignation.
Oh, wow.
But my parents said, don't do it. Don't do it. Everybody told me not to do it. And here I am.
Passion for it.
Yeah. I was going to tell you something. When you said something about the podcast, that I've done a lot of these, and, you know, I just bought my mic in March of 2020, and I was going to go out and on the construction site and do these interviews when I was on the road and do all this stuff. And then kaput. So I was like, okay, I'll wing it. And I just laugh at myself.
And you had the tools. You had the tools to do it.
Yeah, well, I look back at some of my videos; they're awful. But
Yeah.
what they're the kind I can laugh at myself. I have no problem with it. I was just like, hey, man, I'm going to wing. I'm going to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
So, what's your favorite project that you built in your? I don't even care if it's
Ooh.
your family's business.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, I built some really cool projects. I will say that the most fulfilling project that I've done is one recently. We just finished up. It's a small project for us, but it was a little renovation in Rahway, New Jersey, for the United Way. They were in Elizabeth. They had a piece of property that they were gifted by the city to open up their offices. It's called a Success Center, for them to be able to provide services to families in Union County. And they were having a tough time finding a contractor. Most people were quoting them prices that were just astronomical. And I was introduced to them. One of their board members is a friend of mine, and we were able to kind of cut our fee and get them the price that was right for them. And we built that space. It came out great, and now they're able to provide services to people in the county where they had, a dingy location in Elizabeth that they just really couldn't provide out of. And it's amazing. It's amazing for the community. The people that work there are so happy. It's just so personally fulfilling that we were able to, and it wasn't just us. Our subcontractors contributed to the build out, and it was just kind of a rally of the construction community and all the work that we've been putting in, relationships that we've built. It all kind of paid off in this project. It was really a fulfilling, nice project, and it happened to be one of our smallest projects of the year.
I was gonna say it's probably like 1,200 square feet or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's nothing. Yeah.
Hey, I do my project profile awards in March always.
Mhm.
So you should submit that project. How old is that project?
Definitely. Last year we just finished it, or earlier this year. Yeah.
You should submit that one because
Yeah.
because that's just a really good feel project. It's not
Yeah.
huge. Got all the,
Yeah.
and you got the subs involved too. They anteed up, so that was really good
Yep.
too. That's
Yep.
awesome.
Yeah, we all ponied up for the community. It was great.
If someone was out there in commercial construction, coffee talk land, and they were thinking about coming into Jersey or in the the New York Metro, and doing some building, how would they reach out to you?
We're online everywhere. We're on social. REDCOMLLC.com is our website. I'm on LinkedIn. Ryan Teicher is my name. That's probably the best ways to get us. And we have a beautiful office in Westfield. We love having people come out here. It's an old car dealership. We actually build car dealerships and industrial buildings primarily. It's renovated and it's gorgeous. So if you're in Westfield, New Jersey, we're on North Ave, come by and visit us, and we love having you here.
Hey, there you go. I went to the Petty School, exit 8 off the Turnpike.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen the golf course there, the Petty School golf course.
Yeah.
Yeah. And listen, if you're thinking about doing construction in New Jersey or you need some renovation, hey, maybe you just want to, bounce some stuff off. Hey, you're a lacrosse guy. You can talk, or football, whatever. You're a turf. You want to call it?
Yeah.
Reach out to them, find them on LinkedIn. Listen, I'm going to put all that in here when I edit, and I'll put it in the description here as well, and give them a call. And we thoroughly enjoyed the conversation. And,
this is great.
As we finish up, if there was one, if there was one positive thought or phrase that you'd like to leave with our listeners, what would it be?
I'm just going to use one word: respect.
Oh yeah.
I learned early on in my career when I was that little punk, the owner's son, coming out into the site, thinking I knew everything and not respecting my elders. I got slapped straight pretty quick. Yeah. And that stuck with me my entire career. It's all about respect. You give respect, you get respect. And that's what will make you successful in this life.
Yeah. Every day I do about 5 to 7 miles. And last year I did my, thought of the day. I've been doing the word of the day. So I just did respect on Saturday night, or maybe it was Sunday. I just did respect. I've got them all in a spreadsheet, so I have to make sure I don't duplicate them because I'm already up to like, I don't know how many, there's 365 days in a year. You count them. I got 120 days more. I got, so anyway, I just talked about respect. Respect is so important in business, personal, athletics, life, sleep, everything. What a great word. I love it. That's great. So, listen, if anybody wants to reach me, I'm at davidc@ccr-mag.com. And hey, Ryan's PR person, she's friends with a lot of people I know up there, and she sent this thing, and she's like, "Hey, it's timing, and here he is." So
here we are.
And that's how. Look, send me something. It's like playing the lottery. If you don't buy a ticket, you can't win. And
got to be in it to win it.
Yeah, you got to be in it to win it. You got to have skin in the game. But if you don't send me something, I can't look at it. Very tough to get in the magazine, but we got a lot of different platforms. Listen, last year I had just under 49 million people hit the site consuming content. This year I'm on pace 70, 80 million. I don't know where somewhere I'll end up in there. And couldn't have done it without you. As I said in my beginning, you are all gold in my eyes. I would have never thought, I'm going to do it. But look, you send me something and it's applicable. Turnaround time, we make sure it's Google indexed and meta and tagged and all that, and we send it to you, share it. It's a win-win. It's good for your SEO, which is search engine optimization. That's how Google finds you. And we look at everything. And and listen, I've learned that the one thing I learned over the last 5 years is that there's more to business, there's more to life than just working. So I put some other content up there that if I think it's cool, like, hey, how do you buy the right, insurance, dental insurance, or, whatever, just good stuff. It's mostly all construction, real estate development, facilities, you name it. But we put some other stuff up there because, we kind of, just add a little more flair. But you got to send it to me. It could be an anniversary, new product, personnel announcement, a charity gig that you did. Send it to me and we'll find a place for it. And last but not least, hit the like button so people find this out on the wild, wild web and see the algorithms and hear Ryan's story and so forth, from family builder to Terp to Manhattan tycoon to, going back to the roots and then taking his, what he's learned and, nice size, nice job, Mr. Teicher. All right.
Thank you.
All right. So, listen, everybody, it's a short week this week. It's hump day today, and you got Thursday and TGIF, and woo, the weekend. And listen, the NFL starting this weekend. You got college football, and you got the baseball playoffs coming up. NHL starting. Got fall ball and lacrosse. And then the NL start. It's just and listen, there's so much going on in the world. Like I said earlier, it's an amazing time to be alive. You got AI entrenched in everything. Everybody's going to be a genius, and but it's not going anywhere. Can't put it back. That paste is out of the tube. It is there, but it's unbelievable. You should. I was on a conference going on AI the other night. I was mind blown what I saw, and but anyway, everybody have a great rest of the week. And let's, like I said, last month of Q3, pedal to the metal, strong with the momentum, and it's going to be, and just go into 2026 with, hey, man, that was an awesome year. I'm closing the book, so I'm moving on. So, Ryan, say goodbye from Jersey.
All right. Well, thanks for having me on. This was a good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And one last, how you doing?
Yeah. How you doing? And I say water. People are like, what? I go to dinner. People are like, my wife's like, it's not water, it's water. I go, that's the way we say it in Philly. It's water. So anyway, you know where I'm coming from. So
that's right.
Listen, I'm going to sign off from Cumming, Georgia, Lake Lanier, about 40 miles north of downtown ATL. If you come into Atlanta and go into the airport, you probably fly over the lake. You can wave to me. So, but listen, everybody have a great fall, and it's coming. And then the holiday season, and like I said, just make sure you're having fun. Keep your blinders on, moving forward with a positive thought. So with that, Ryan, I'm coming up to Jersey, I'm going to look you up. All right.
Come see us. Come see us in Westfield.
Yeah, absolutely. And so say goodbye from Jersey.
All right. Take care. Thank you.
And I'm going to sign off, and we will see you next time on another episode of Commercial Construction Coffee Talk. Ryan, pleasure. Go Turtles. See ya.
You got it.
See ya.